NorCal. 209 King of Comedy. It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
Shout out to the Ha-Ha, man. That's where I first started.
Yeah,
That's
I'll be there next Saturday with
my
Kabir.
first stage, yeah.
So when we were watching your set that night, you talked about how your dad isn't your favorite comic.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I wanted to ask both of you guys, which will lead into something else. I wanted to ask, who are your top 5 comics?
Is that just a joke?
That
was just for a bit. Yeah,
that was just a bit.
He's definitely in my top 10, I would say, for sure. I guess my top couple outside of my I feel like I don't count my family because that's like weird to so I would say Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Patrice O'Neal, Chappelle, and then somebody else, whoever wants to, maybe Bill Burr sometimes. I don't know. I can switch out the 5th, but the top 4 are like those guys
are right there.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you tend to do?
Wait, what was your 5? You said
George Carlin, because he's a futurist. Like that dude, everything he said back in the day is happening now. This dude is just like master of like wordplay. Yeah, and he was just mean.
To be honest, I mean it's probably the same.
The same.
Yeah, Chappelle, Burr for sure for me, and then Patrice, Carlin.
So I asked that because a couple of weeks ago there was something in the news that I think your pops went on the Breakfast Club, and I'm a big Verzuz dude.
Okay,
you know where I'm headed with this, right? No, your pop said something about even though I don't think Verzuz is built for comedy because that's kind of weird.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking
Damon
about.
Said, your pop said that he would go up and go against Dave.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? Like, not just who would win, because comedy's so subjective.
Exactly.
But how would that work? Like, what kind of format? And then what do you see the outcome be besides just everybody laughing? And
I talked to him about that, and he was saying that he was like, really, he wanted it to be more of a celebration of comedy. It's not really a me versus you thing. It's like, he was like, we'll show some sketches. He's like, show some old In Living Color sketches, like some of my best sketches, and then show some of his best sketches, and then do a little stand-up, and then maybe bring other comedians out from each one of our sides. He was like, just make it like more of a fun thing, instead of like 2 old niggas roasting each other. He's like, he didn't want it to be like that. It's like I feel like comedy is, I don't know. You don't need to do that with comedy for people to like laugh and enjoy themselves.
Exactly. I think the way you're describing it is way better, where it's more like just a celebration of a body of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that would be dope to do.
That would, right?
Sketch to sketch.
Yeah.
And then,
even like doing like somebody like kind of with the stand-up portion, somebody does a joke, like a bit, maybe 3-4 minutes, whatever. The other person comes on, transitions from that bit, find their way out into a really bit that they love doing, and then they just kind of take turns. They could be on the same stage. That'd be dope.
That would be so dope.
Yeah.
Which, again, just because we're on Chappelle a little bit, have you guys seen his last special? Because I don't know how you guys feel, but I think me and Cody talked about it on the podcast that we were doing together, and we just both feel like this shouldn't be where you get judged at. You're here to listen to a joke.
Yep.
You might not like my perspective, but there's no malice. There's no intention to be an asshole on stage, at least for me. You know what I mean? So I know when I write, I'm totally trying to make it funny, and maybe I just didn't make it funny enough for you. And sometimes I could totally do that to a joke. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about Dave Chappelle's last special? Have you watched it? And
I watched it. People forget that his parents are like professors.
Yes.
So he is like a master at setting up jokes, preaching to the people in a way that they can digest it.
And for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I saw it. Look, I can't fault anybody from being offended.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. But like Chappelle has said in one of the specials, like, you clicked on his face. It's not like it was Jim Gaffigan dropped us to Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean? Like, he's been doing,
you should know.
He's been doing that level of comedy for a while now. It's not like he surprised us with anything that's that's
Brian
new.
Regan doing that.
Exactly. Like, whoa! I didn't
Brian Regan.
Yeah, like now.
I like Brian Regan too.
Right? Like you might have a case, right? So it's like you could be offended. I'm not faulting you for that, but there is some kind of issue when you're offended by one thing, but you're not offended by the other stuff. Because he just didn't talk about, one particular thing. He did an array of jokes that could be found offensive by an array of people. So if you're as an audience member saying, hey, you can't talk about that because that hits home with me, but you enjoy laughing at other people's houses get burned, well, that makes you no better than the person performing the joke. And the only person who has a responsibility over what the show is going to entail is the artist in itself. Because if we take that down, then where do we draw the line? South Park is coming down. The rap music is coming down. The sex scenes are coming down. Because you don't get to choose what's offensive for somebody else. But you do get to choose if you want to watch it or not. So if you don't like it, that's cool. That's your point, and we understand it. Then just don't click on it and you be happy. Like, just move on with your life. Yeah. There's plenty of good art out there that you can go enjoy. Yeah.
Cody, you want to weigh in?
Yeah.
No, let's get you on camera. Get over here. I'll step out. And the only reason I'm getting Cody on this is because we talked about Dave Chappelle. Cody's one of Cody's favorite comics is Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And mine too.
Yeah.
I love Patrice.
Same.
And,
likewise. R.I.P. Shout out Patrice, man.
Patrice.
Shout out Elephant in the Room. If you haven't seen that special, go watch it. Best special from start to finish, hands down to me.
Yeah. I agree. It's that 81-point game where it's like Kobe versus Jordan. We know it's Jordan, but Jordan has never done 81, and I saw Patrice do 81.
Yeah.
And it always makes you wonder, well, what else did he have left in the tank? Because maybe he was supposed to be the best.
I think so.
Yeah. And underrated Norm Macdonald.
So
Norm
Cody,
too.
Yeah.
Is you when we spoke about it, he hadn't dropped this special yet.
Yeah.
So, and you was like, oh, we had that big discussion where you're like, I just hate Dave Chappelle fans.
I do.
But I love Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. I do hate his fans, though. A lot. I've never seen someone... I've never seen people overrate someone so hard to, like, a pressurized situation. Like...
So now that you saw
you know what I mean?
special,
but
and
they
where
also,
do you rate that in those 4 specials on Netflix?
He had better work before. I mean, I like what he's saying. Because I'm like, finally. Because so many comics want to say that, but he got the platform. He very well could have not, but he used it. So I was like, oh, okay. And I know exactly what he's trying to do. I'm like, this is brave. It's hard to make that shit as funny as, Killing Him Softly and stuff like that. So, like, everybody declines, too. Everybody has, like, shitty specials after a while. And it's not like his was shitty. But he's definitely put out better stuff, right? Like, in terms of, like, murdering, like, just slaughtering, like, funny as hell. I like that he is basically taking away this idea of punching up and punching down. It's like, no, punch everywhere.
Yep.
Like, because, like, if everybody's calling this target punching up, that's the only target that you can punch at, and you can't touch... well, technically, that is now punching down. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
Because now everyone's making fun of that one target. That's punching down. So... neutralize it. We can hit everybody.
Yeah, essentially what you're saying is, oh, these people are below you. You mean like no one should have a perspective like anybody's below me. Right? If I look at everybody in an equal way, then I should be able to talk about everybody in an equal way. It's like, oh, you can't touch this community because they make less than you. It's like, or that type of thing, or they're not as And I think, in my personal opinion, I think Chappelle, he brought a lot of he humanized that community even more when it comes to like his transgender community, in my opinion, just in terms of like making them, because if you could, like, with me, when it comes to my friends, if I can't joke with you, then we're not really friends. That's just for real. You know what I'm saying? If I'm joking with you, if I'm making fun of whatever your tics, that means I actually accept you, and like I love you for who you are. But yes, like he said, but it is a funny situation. You know what I mean? Like that's what he's saying is he's bringing them into the family. Like, yeah, man, I see you, I respect you, I understand where you're coming from, but this is a funny part of that, and this is, I'm a comedian, that's my job, is to make fun of whatever, But I think that was only because there wasn't that much, he was under contract to like put out a certain number of specials, a certain amount of time, and there wasn't that necessarily, I mean, there was plenty of other things he could have talked about, sure, but I think because there was a lot of criticism towards that, it was kind of maybe taking over his artistic space, and so he just kind of bled it.
Now, do you think maybe that happened because when you were talking, I was thinking about it. I don't know if you guys noticed but I have 4 fingers, right?
Oh no, I saw that.
All right.
I didn't notice. What's funny,
I saw
bro?
that.
You know what's funny? I didn't notice at all. And so, and you know what's funny?
I literally was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Of the figure that you're missing. No, bro.
Rewind that clip.
You're missing the best finger to miss.
Yeah.
To where like you wouldn't even notice it. Like put it back up again. Put it up again. Yeah. Like the doctor did a great job. Bro.
Yeah, he did.
Because I didn't know this shit.
Shout out to your doctor.
And I'm looking at that like, oh wow.
Yeah.
I thought like the artist. I thought the artist fucked up.
Yeah, I was like,
Right.
I like, man, shout out, tell him the artist missing a finger. Yeah, it's your buddy bag, man. You missing a finger.
That's why I can't get sued by Jay-Z right there. So.
Right.
and what were you saying?
But when I bring up my disability or whatever you want to call it, then I find it different rather than somebody else. So you feel like he's getting so much pushback because they're like, you're not part of our community. Why are you talking about it?
Because the stand-up, what's more important than what you're saying is how you're saying it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think with Chappelle, stand-up is not about, let me come on stage and say a perfect thing. Let me talk the way a role model should talk right now. People don't come to comedy clubs for that. People come to comedy clubs to see an imperfect person pretty much think out loud, right? Because when you're home with your family, you gotta be a role model. When you're at work, you gotta be a role model. And the comedy club got its legs because you can come somewhere and see somebody talk on stage the way you and your best friend talk, right? And like have a point to it. And he can't go out there and give some kind of dissertation like a college professor because he don't have that time. He has 4 minutes, 4 to 5, 4 to 7 sometimes, to not only get a point across but also be funny. And funny is first. You gotta be funny first.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially if you're Chappelle.
Yeah.
You gotta be funny.
Right.
Like the vegan, when he was talking about that one joke.
That was a great joke.
That was great.
Yeah. That was great wordplay and like all that. But yeah, he's under a lot of pressure to keep churning something out. He couldn't like let anything stew. So I think that's a lot of.
You gotta live life to come up with like material. And so if you don't give yourself time to live life, you're only gonna be. And I've seen comedians that will have a banging special because that's like years of stuff that they've accumulated over time, and then their next special comes out like a year later, and they've only got to really just look at the news and see what's going on in the news, and then you hear the whole new hour is just all about Channel 5 is talking about. It's just like, what is this? Because they didn't have enough time to experience life and like build it. No.
It actually is impressive, the quality for as much pressure he was under to release 4 so quickly.
Absolutely.
That's pretty crazy. Like, I don't.
If you take that into account, it's.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good. Especially like I think even some of the specials had like a different temperament where it wasn't just like the same tone each special. I feel like Sticks and Stones had a little bit different tone than Closer. I feel like the Belly Room special was very different from the other ones. I feel like the one with the jean jacket in Texas was more like similar to like For What It's Worth and Kill 'Em Softly. So they all had like their own kind of texture to it.
Is For What It's Worth the one where he had the big mustache?
Yeah, San Francisco.
I love that one.
Special, bro.
What the fuck is juice? I want that one drink.
It's green.
Yeah.
I love that special, bro.
Shout out to Chappelle, man. You'll never see this, but
classics, man.
shout out to you. Oh, man, I'm kidding. You gotta watch this, Chappelle. It's great.
Missing Figure Podcast.
It's great. Watch Cody drag you, bro. Gotta watch it. Man, that shit was trash,
right, guys? I was like,
It was trash.
He was like looking at us. He was like,
I thought it was great, Dave.
Yeah, it's great. I was like, one of those top special.
I want to finish.
I'm really just trying to come off as a more positive guy, and I just suck so bad at even like fucking covering that up. I just like this fucking. Like, now I just look like a bitch that I won't say my real opinion.
No, man. It's a valid opinion, man.
It's just really hard having a negative opinion about the most powerful comedian in show business, who could literally call Netflix like, hey, or call Comedy Central like, it hurt my feelings.
He won't. He won't.
I didn't get paid.
He does not do that. He's dope.
know.
Yeah.
Powerful
and also,
dude,
you
though.
had to look. That's like a legit opinion, and I don't necessarily disagree with you.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Please hit the subscribe button down low so you can see all new clips, all new episodes coming to you.